there be a payroll tax cut in the bill?
Not in this, but we're going to come back again. You know, there may be a CARES 5.0. The president, again, is focused on money in American workers and American pockets right now.
Okay, there you have it. No payroll tax cut. That's the Treasury Secretary saying it. Art Laffer is with us. Art, I know you're disappointed because you really wanted a payroll tax cut. What you're going to get instead is probably $1 trillion worth of money going out into individuals' pockets. Is that good enough for you? Is that what you want to see?
No, it's not what I think is good for the country. What you want to do, Stuart, is incentivize people to work. And, you know, the lowest income groups pay the most payroll taxes as a share of total taxes. And what you want to do is make them much more attractive to be hired by employers and much more anxious to work because of their payroll tax cut. So this is a real incentive for people to work and for people to employ and to increase the growth of the country. You know, paying out checks to people who don't work, well, okay, that's not my problem. That's the country's problem. That's the economy's problem. So I just tell you what the best advice I have.
I understand. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Art, but look, okay, what we're going to get, what we're going to get instead of a payroll tax cut is more money flowing into people's pockets, maybe $1 trillion worth. Do you oppose that?
Yeah. I really do oppose that in general. Now, specifically, I don't know how it's going to be distributed, but when you pay people not to work or not for working, you're taking those resources from workers and producers, and it's going to slow the economy down. Now, if people are desperately in need of money, Stuart, of course, that's the humanitarian need, that's a redistribution. But as far as a stimulus to the economy, $1,200 in people's pockets is not going to stimulate the economy. It's going to slow the economy down. But if it's humanitarian and people need it badly, it's worth the slowdown to put that money in their hands. But I don't think in this case, where it's being decided on the floors of the Senate or in the halls of whatever it may be, these people are really looking at the need very carefully. They haven't been historically.
Okay, now look, I see signs that the economic recovery is beginning, not exactly stalling, but the recovery is slowing down. You see the same thing?
Of course, yes, I do. And, you know, that's this last week, new unemployment claims were up a little bit, and you know, it's not down like the way it should be. It's not roaring like the way I thought it could be or should be, which is why I think the payroll tax waiver would really be good. But I think it's, you know, when you talk about a payroll tax waiver, you look at the elections of Kennedy versus Nixon, you look at the election of Reagan versus Jimmy Carter and versus Mondale, you look at the election of Clinton. I mean, the re-election of Clinton, it's tax cuts are a very good political thing for the in-power president. And I just hope the president runs on cutting tax rates rather than on paying out welfare checks to people. It's not good politics, and it's surely not good economics either.
We hear you, Art Laffer. We hear you.
And it's not my choice.
That's true.
You know, and I elected a lot of these people myself, and the people elected, people deserve the governments they get. And this is a classic case in point.
Yes, it is.
And I hope the economy recovers nicely, but this will slow it down.
Okay, we hear you. Art, thank you very much indeed. We hear you loud and clear. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Stuart.
See you soon. Thank you.